Today, I've got two incredible, almost unbelievable stories to share with you, both about how serendipity seems to have its way of weaving people together when you least expect it. These stories involve me, my wife Cindy, an orphanage in Honduras, and a couple of totally random yet deeply connected encounters that left us speechless. It's all about serendipity, small world moments, and the magic that happens when you're least expecting it. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one. It's wild. Hey friends, I'm Dennis Geelen, author of The Accidental Solopreneur. Welcome to the Happy Accidents podcast, where we dive into real stories of unexpected success, from chance encounters in everyday life to the serendipitous moments that shaped thriving businesses. Each episode uncovers surprising events that anyone can learn from. Let's jump into today's adventure. Okay, today's episode is going to be a little more of a personal story, a little personal adventure that you get to come along the ride with me on. Sometimes I'm interviewing other people and capturing their story on the podcast. Other times I'm sharing stories of, famous products or companies that kind of accidentally or serendipitously fell into some success. Today I'm sharing a story that has two different happy accidents in it that both come from my own personal life and my own personal experience, especially over the last couple of years. So let me give you a little bit of backstory first. I mentioned off the top, this episode is going to involve myself, my wife Cindy, and an orphanage in Honduras. So let me back up a little bit. A few years ago, we got involved with an organization called Friends of Honduran Children. Now, we live in Ontario, like an hour and a half northeast of Toronto. At the time, we were living in a city called Peterborough. Friends of Honduran Children has an office in Ontario. Now, this is an organization that you can pay to sponsor children at a very specific orphanage in Honduras. The orphanage is called Nuevo Paraiso. We got involved. We started sponsoring 3 children, and then later found out, hey, you can actually go on brigades. The Friends of Honduran Children outfit in Peterborough organizes a yearly brigade, which is a trip down to Honduras where you go down, you meet the children at the orphanage, you spend time with them, you bring them supplies, you teach them things, you just love on them. We take them to the movies, we take them shopping, just things that they wouldn't normally get to do in their everyday life. We just go down there, we love on them, we bless them, and you actually get to spend time and interact with these children that you're sponsoring, which is just an incredible experience. So in 2022, we decided we're going to jump on board. We're going to go on this brigade. That was in December of 2022. Now, when we first got down there, we didn't go straight to the orphanage. We actually met first with some older children that had kind of graduated out of the orphanage. After you're past your high school age, you can either go on to university and you can continue to get sponsored while you're going through university, and they set you up in what they call a transition house where you kind of learn to live and budget and cook and shop and so on while going to university. Or that's it, you're kind of out into the world. You integrate back in with some sort of family, or you try and make it on your own. Anyway, that first night down there, we met with a bunch of these kids that had graduated out of the orphanage. Some of them were in university, some of them had gone past that. Two of the girls that we met specifically, their names were Nancy and Angie, and we were just taken aback by how creative they are, how innovative they are, and how joyful they were. They were just making stuff, origami, craft stuff, just out of things that were around as we're sitting and meeting with them. And we were just like, wow, these girls are incredible. Only to find out they're struggling their way to try and make it. They've been in and out of school because they can't afford it. They're not part of the transition house. They were trying to do it on their own, and they were really struggling. We then went to the orphanage, spent several days there, got to know the kids. It was just an incredible experience, again, to see the amount of joy and love that these kids had. But as we were leaving and on our way home, we kept thinking to ourselves, man, is there more we can do? Yes, we're supporting these kids while they're at the orphanage. Yes, we can continue to go down and visit them, God willing. And if we have the means, different years, we can go down and continue to do this trip. But what happens after they leave? Even the ones that end up going to university don't always make it. What becomes of their life? And our thoughts went back to Nancy and Angie, and we thought, well, maybe we could just target those two girls. We saw how creative they were. Rather than just giving them money, which doesn't really give you the skills you need, could we do something with them? Could we partner with them and kind of teach them how to be a little more entrepreneurial and start up some sort of business? With their creativity and their ability to do crafts, we thought, hey, maybe they could create greeting cards, handmade greeting cards. We would give them a little bit of money to get them started, get their supplies. They create these greeting cards, and as these different brigades are coming back, they can bring the cards with them, and we will sell them here in Canada and then give that money back to Nancy and Angie. They can take some of that money for more supplies, but the rest of it all goes towards their living expenses and helping them get through university. Well, it was working. And we had done several rounds of these, and mostly we'd just been letting our friends and family know about the cards, and we're starting to sell them. And then we thought, okay, we need to start expanding beyond friends and family. Other people are going to, need to keep the word of mouth going and support this as well. So at one point, I put a post on Facebook letting people know. And again, most of these are people who are in my area that I'm connected with on Facebook about these cards and what we were doing, what the money was for. Well, one person, this is happy accident number one. One person saw that post on Facebook. She happened to live just a few blocks away. I didn't know her. We weren't connected, but she saw the post by either somebody else commenting or sharing it or whatever. So serendipitously, it ends up in their feed. And this is what she wrote on the post. She wrote, I would love to support Nancy and Angie by purchasing a bundle of cards. I actually met them both and their other sister in 2008 on a mission trip through Friends of Honduran Children as well. I supported Nancy for many years, and we connected through Facebook a few years ago. How incredible is that? First of all, there's only like 100 and something kids at this orphanage in this, country miles and miles away, Honduras. And the orphanage is in this remote area of Honduras. Friends of Honduran Children is a small organization. There's only one paid employee at the outfit in Peterborough. Now I'm living in a different town about 45 minutes away called Lindsay, and somebody who lives a couple blocks away from me had actually gone on several brigades through the exact same organization to the exact same orphanage and met the exact same two girls. Whoa. Like, my mind was pretty much blown at that point. So obviously reached back out to this lady, arranged when she could come and pick up some cards. She started showing us pictures of Nancy and Angie when they were little girls, and she told us she was there actually the day that Nancy and Angie and her sister came to the orphanage where they had left their family situation and came to the orphanage. This lady was there that day, met them, started supporting them, developed a relationship with them. How incredible is that? Only serendipity at play could make that happen. But as I mentioned off the top, that's only story number one. Hey there, real quick. Listen, I really hope you're enjoying this episode of the podcast. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, do me a favor and give it a rating and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss an episode. If you're watching on YouTube, hey, give this video a like, send me your thoughts in the comments, and make sure you're subscribed here as well. Okay, back to the show. This exact same journey that we've been on with this orphanage and with this organization, Friends of Honduran Children, has now spawned yet a second serendipitous story. And here's how that one goes. So fast forward, it's now 2024. Cindy and I were not able to go on a brigade in 2023, and we thought, man, we really want to go back. We want to make this work again in 2024. So we signed up for the December 2024 brigade. Several of the people that we went with in 2022 were coming again, but also a few new people. 3 or 4 people that had never been on a brigade through Friends of Honduran Children, who are now supporting children as well, wanted to come. And we thought, well, this is great. More people are going to get to experience this. They're going to love it. We've had a few meetings to go over what does this look like? What do we need to do to prepare? How much money do we need to raise? What kind of supplies should we be starting to put together? And just a few weeks ago, we had our final meeting before we finally get together and do this brigade in December. And one of the things that came up at this meeting was in order to bring all the supplies down in the past, we've brought hockey bags, right? Being Canadian, pretty easy to get our hands on spare hockey bags. We can fill them with all kinds of stuff, but they are a bit of a pain to walk around in the airport, carrying these hockey bags, and it does draw a little bit of attention. So one person said, hey, what if we just get some old, used, extra large suitcases, fill those with supplies. We're probably still going to get them searched, but we're not bringing anything down illegal. We're bringing old clothing and some crafts and stuff like that. And it's a little easier to carry them around, especially if they have the wheels on them. And then we can also just leave those down there. They're always going to need suitcases for the kids that graduate out of the orphanage. And now there'll be some suitcases for them to use to bring their stuff with them when they end up going off to university. Well, we thought this was a great idea. So, happy accident number 2. One of the new people who's going on a brigade for the first time loved the idea of finding some new suitcases. And a few days after that meeting, she sends an email out to everybody else who's partaking in the brigade. And I'm just going to read the email to you because it sums it up perfectly. First of all, the subject of the email is serendipity. That's it. Just one word, serendipity. And it's written to all of us. So, of course, me loving and writing and talking about happy accidents all the time, I immediately opened up this email. What does she have to say about serendipity? So here's what she wrote. Hi, folks. Just thought I would send a note about a neat interaction I've had last night and today. After our meeting on Wednesday, I decided that taking a suitcase that I can leave down there was a great idea. Before I started browsing thrift shops, though, I decided to check Facebook Marketplace. Here we go with Facebook again. I decided to check Facebook Marketplace last night for cheap or free luggage. And as luck would have it, there were 4 people who had posted large suitcases for $10 to $20 in the areas of Peterborough, Kawartha Lakes, and Selwyn. These are all towns around us. She says, I chose to message the person in Selwyn, as that's where I live. I live in Selwyn. I requested the measurements and let her know why I needed it and that I intend to leave it down there. She messaged me back and says I can have it for free. In fact, she herself had traveled with Friends of Honduran Children for 9 years in a row to Honduras, both to Nuevo Paraíso, that's the orphanage where we go, plus another all-boys school called Flor Azul. What are the odds, she writes. I went today to pick up the suitcase and she came out to chat for a bit, assured me that I will love it there. She offered to collect items or gather anything we still need to send down with me. And this suitcase, this is the kicker, will be on its 4th trip to Honduras. First of all, how incredible is that she just reaches out to this random person who is selling some suitcases. That same person has actually been on 9 different brigades down to Honduras through the exact same organization. Again, this very small 1-employee organization, Friends of Honduran Children. And the same suitcase that she's getting from her now for free will now be on its 4th trip to the exact same place. Whoa. Again, mind blown again. So she ends off her email again. She says, serendipity. It made my day, and I thought I should share this feel-good story with all of you. Well, reading her email, it made my day. And I immediately thought, I need to share this feel-good story with all of you, everybody listening or watching to this podcast. So Just an incredible turn of events since we've been involved with Friends of Honduran Children. We're just seeing more and more people coming out that are going, wow, me too. I've been there too. I've been involved with Friends of Honduran Children as well. I've been down there on brigades. People who live around the corner from us end up buying cards. People who live in the same town as this lady are actually getting rid of one of the same suitcases that have made the same trip to the exact same orphanage. Just incredible to see serendipity at work throughout this journey. And now it kind of makes me wonder, what's next? What else are we going to encounter? What other strange little threads of randomness and serendipity are we going to be able to put together? What kind of dots are we going to be able to connect just to see what are the amazing things at work here that we actually have no idea about on the surface? So I hope you enjoyed this story. I hope you can appreciate the incredible awesomeness of both of those happy accidents, both just chance and serendipity at play there, or maybe not. Maybe something else, something bigger, something divine working along the way. But there you have it. 2 moments of chance, of community, of shared passion for helping others, and it's truly creating something special. And I just find it's funny how life has a way of connecting the dots when you're not even looking for them. So I hope these stories remind you that sometimes the most meaningful connections come from the most unexpected places. Until next time, take care.
Hey, thanks for tuning into the Happy Accidents podcast. I hope you find these stories as intriguing and insightful as I do. But make sure you don't miss an episode. You can subscribe to my Accidental Solopreneur channel on YouTube and watch these episodes in video form, or subscribe to the Happy Accidents podcast on Apple and Spotify for your listening pleasure. Until next time, stay lucky, my friends.